the DJ of your dreams, KrazeAmaze, along with Nellybang and Miss KG and LV. And we are here to talk about one thing that is coming to America. That's the sequel to the 1988 classic Eddie Murphy film starring Arsenio Hall, along with James Earl Jones, and let's see, Madge Sinclair was in the original. There was Sherry Headley, a cast of just countless talent. And now, this past Thursday, because it did drop early, Coming to America, the sequel, was released. I am joined today by Nellybang. Hi, Nellybang. How are you today?
Hi, KrazeAmaze. I'm doing great.
All right, that's awesome. And I am joined by Miss KGnLV. How's it going?
What's up, y'all? Hey, bro.
All right, here we go. Let's just jump right into it, guys.
Let's do it.
We have this new movie, 30 years in the making. Now, obviously, they hadn't planned 30 years ago to make this sequel. In fact, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall both said that they weren't going to make a sequel to this movie, but the demand was so high and it was just so much that they decided to make it. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the original movie. What kind of impact did the first movie have on you personally? I mean, I know since we're all family here, and if you guys are tuning in and you don't know, I am married to Nellybang, and Miss KGnLV is my sister. So now we're all here to talk about it. I see Lonnie B has chimed in. That's our cousin.
Hey, Lonnie.
And we've got Silver Lady, that's Mom. So hopefully, if you're tuned in, you will, follow the channel so you can talk and chat with all of us about this movie. All right, so what kind of impact did it have? Let's go to Miss KGnLV first.
Okay, so I thought about this, and when it first came out, I remember liking it. I remember thinking it was funny. I don't remember thinking it was the funniest thing ever. I don't think it like one of my top faves later. You know, you watch it over and over again, and you catch this line, catch this line. I mean, it was really funny when it came out, but I think the passion that people have for it now kind of over time. It's part of your it's part of your upbringing, and all the lines, and you share the lines, and so it's taken on another level. So yeah, I mean, it's always been a great movie. Back from Eddie heyday, like when he was just hitting all his you just had to see the new Eddie Murphy movie. You knew it was going to be good. You knew it was going to be. You knew it was going to be worth talking about.
But somewhere along the lines, that stopped happening, and Eddie Murphy didn't always equal good movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to say nothing. I was leave it at that. Bankable.
Okay. And Nellybang, what kind of impact did it have on you?
Well, it came out like in 88, I think. Mm-hmm. So I was only 10. So I don't remember seeing it for the first time. I just remember watching it a lot, like in college and, now as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
It was just awesome to have a cast, so many people that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just like a lot of funny lines that I throw into everyday conversation. That's the impact it had on me, I guess.
Yeah. I think that it's become part of our culture. It's become woven into a lot of the things, that we say and do. From everything to the big grandiose mic drop of Randy Watson. When you leave the room and you do one of these, that is all from Coming to America. I mean, I have my McDowell shirt on, and I wouldn't have, gotten that for something that was in Pluto Nash or like, Beverly Hills Cop 3. So, yeah, I think it has ingrained itself into our culture. And I feel like, I remember in high school, and by that time I started high school in '89, so really shortly after the movie came out. But I remember being at the girls' basketball game and just waiting for halftime so I can stand up and yell, "Yes, in the face!" Just like Akeem did during the first movie. So yeah, it's definitely something that over time you grow to love and you grow to appreciate just the subtlety of everything. There's a look here or a comment there that's made within the film, to whereas you really pick that up after repeated viewings. And I really appreciate that about the first film. So if we take that into account, what was your initial reaction? What was your impression of the sequel? Okay. All right. So we have got kind of a split here because Nellybang gives it the double thumbs down. And
it was funny watching it with you, but the first time I was so angry. Like I was pissed.
I was not expecting to laugh like I did. I had heard people say it's not as good as the first one, and everybody said what they had to say. But I laughed like I enjoy myself.
Right. Oh, I see Ender's checked in. Ender says 4 out of 10. Ender gives it 4 out of 10. Thank you for stopping by, Ender. We really appreciate it. 4 out of 10. Yeah, 4 out of 10. I think they just watched it last night. They just watched it for the first time last night. And
I've only seen it once.
It doesn't get any better.
I think it will. I'm going to watch it again. If I had time today, I would watch it again.
Really? I don't see this as something that people are going to, I mean, I shouldn't say that. There are going to be people that will rewatch it, but I won't. I only did it because of this. It just...
No, I think that people will rewatch it. I think that as people, like once it starts making the cable rotation, you'll catch it on and you'll watch it because nothing else is on, and you'll catch little things, and it's just silly. It's the same kind of movie. And I think the nostalgia of seeing the people from back in the day, the cameos and everything. There's, I enjoyed that. And so I think that there will be things that you just take away from it and you just say because it's silly, or you'll do because it's silly, and it made you laugh the first time, or it made me laugh the first time. So
yeah.
And I'm a big movie quoter, so I have a movie for everything or a song for everything.
Yeah.
So I could see it happen.
Lonnie B says that she didn't mind it. She chuckled several times. She did fall asleep. No, I'm sorry, that's Lexa Doom. Lonnie B says the first time she watched it, she disliked it. She had to watch it again, and it was amusing at best. I think.
I mean, it was funny. It wasn't War and Peace. It wasn't a life-changing movie, but it was entertaining.
Okay, all right. I am kind of on the fence about the movie. My love for the first one, and when I tell you that I love the first movie, it is my favorite comedy of all time. I mean, there's no funnier movie than the original Coming to America. And I mean, look, I've got where are they at? They're on this
other side.
I've got Akeem and I've got Simi for my Funko Pops. I've got them. I'm collecting stuff about the movie, and it's a 30-year-old movie. And just to let you know that that first movie is just so quotable. I've made YouTube videos about it. I have just quoted it endlessly in different scenarios. And then, to have the sequel, when they announced the sequel, I was skeptical. I was hella skeptical because I was like, I don't know. And so when we finally watched it, and we just stumbled upon it on Thursday night because I'm such a fan. I was just checking to see, maybe they'll release it early or something like that, and they did. And I was surprised that we were able to watch it on Thursday instead of Friday. And I watched it, and it was like, okay, I see what they're doing there. I see what they're doing. I wouldn't say I had, full out belly laughs at most of the things, but like Miss KG said, it was nice to see kind of some old faces. And I think we had a discussion. We watched it again over the weekend with Miss KG, and I think that when we talked about it briefly after we watched it, I think you summed it up best. It was kind of like a high school reunion, where it was nice to see the faces, but you probably weren't going to get into any deep relationships that you hadn't already established. And so for this movie right here, it was like, okay, it was nice to see everybody again. It was nice to see what they did. But overall, you can't repaint the Mona Lisa. You know what I'm saying? You've got the Mona Lisa, and then you've got imitators, and you've got duplicates. So I don't know.
I think when you catch lightning in a bottle, you have lightning in a bottle. Okay, and that's that bottle. And I think for me, I always try to approach things as an individual, not like a series like Harry Potter or Star Wars or whatever. Even Star Wars, kind of like the separate trilogies, I keep them separate. So I didn't expect for it to be as good as the first. I had no expectations. There's no way that you could just make that again. And if you do, great. But the way that people were panning it, I was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. Like, I'm not going to laugh at all. And one of the earliest scenes, I was like, ha! Like it was just fun. Like it wasn't serious. I didn't expect to be moved. Mm-hmm. And I had a couple of good chuckles. Right. And what more can you for?
I understand.
For a movie I saw for free on a Sunday afternoon, at my mama's house.
Uh-huh.
I was entertained.
All right.
I'm not complaining.
And so,
I got no complaint.
Janelle, what's your beef with the movie? Let's just talk generally about how you felt after you watched that first time.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand the whole premise. Like he needed to get a son so that he wouldn't go to war with General Izzy, or.
Yeah. So what the whole thing was they General Izzy wanted to unite the two kingdoms. So it was Zamunda, where Jaffe Joffer was the king. Mm-hmm. And then when he passed away, of course, Akim became the king of Zamunda. And General Izzy was the leader of Nextdoria. I don't know if
right. I mean, I get it. What I'm saying is
until after the movie.
Yeah. I didn't get why. Okay, so in the first movie, you have Prince Akim. He's against arranged marriages. So he's like, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to find my bride. I want someone that's strong and can think for herself. And then for him in the new movie they made him a punk.
Yeah.
Like he fought Samuel L. Jackson, you know what I mean? Like they trained, and they made a point of putting that in the second movie. They trained the daughters, what are you training for? If you just want to let somebody come up in your house, you don't have security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would have preferred if they made it more about him leaving the sister at the altar, and that's why they had beef and him trying to, I don't know. I just felt like they changed Akeem.
Okay. All right.
I have a lot of things that I have a problem with, but that was my biggest one.
Okay. All right. So let's take a step back and let's go to the positives. Is there anything, Nellybang, that worked for you?
Yes. I enjoyed Marimbe.
Okay.
The barber.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I felt like she was a person. She wasn't a character like everyone else. She I don't know. She was cool. She was down to earth. She was a little sassy. She wasn't over the top like Leslie Jones. And I also enjoyed the daughter.
The oldest daughter.
Mika.
Okay.
I like that they cast a dark-skinned girl. And I would have liked if they had made it more about her.
Okay, I totally agree with that. I think that it did stray away from the first movie in that they did change the character of Akeem. If you remember, Akeem was kind of, forward thinking. He was very progressive in his thought because he didn't want to marry someone who just liked what he liked and was raised to be his queen. He wanted someone who could think for herself. He wanted someone who stimulated his intellect as well as his loins.
And says kids make you soft.
But then, I think that was a plot point. Everybody pointed out to him that he used to be this. Everybody said that. Marimbe said that. His wife said it. Like, it was a plot point, and you do change as you get older. I think somebody in the movie said you start off one way and then you grow into your parents.
But it seems they didn't change anything. Like, okay, so once maybe he didn't have the power to. I felt like he would have taken away the Rose girls or the lady being able to have her own business. She couldn't even do that.
He was the prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad, his dad didn't die until 20 minutes into the movie, 15, 20 minutes into.
And that was stupid.
Oh my God, I love that. I want to go out like that.
I like that, you celebrate while you're here, but.
Yeah, give me my flowers while I'm here.
And then all those cameos.
Oh,
I didn't like it.
Some of them were goofy, but it was just something fun to do. Like I didn't go into it expecting to have a deep, plot with layered, I didn't expect that. I expected silliness. Like, it's not like they had all of that in the first movie. Yes, he was stronger. Like, him wanting to find a woman was a plot point. He needed to get from Zamunda to America. He wanted to find a girl. That's how they got him there. It wasn't layered and deep. It was a plot point. This was a plot point to do it all again. And I was here for it.
So those are definitely some of the positive things from both sides, from someone who did not like it versus someone who loved it or really enjoyed it. And then, me being in the, kind of in the middle with it. I think one of the big positives was that, I really liked the characters. A highlight of the first film is, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall coming up with these crazy characters. So I think revisiting those characters, the concept of revisiting those characters, I think was definitely a positive for the movie. Now, what they did with the characters, I think was kind of a negative because I don't think that they escalated the characters, or they in the 30 years, it was basically like time stood still. When they walked into the barbershop, it was just basically an extension of the first movie. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but there are so many different directions that you can go. Maybe these guys who knows how old they are, because that movie was 30 and they look like
clearly they're 90 or older.
But it would be nice to maybe see them as retired, or see them maybe like instead of them still doing the same thing at the barbershop, maybe they're the guys who all sit in the barbershop and play chess while you have some young barbers doing some things. And you're taking the old heads versus the new heads, and maybe they're having a discussion. And it doesn't always have to be, I just felt like it was like, hey, remember this from the first movie? If you loved it in the first movie, you'll love it in the second movie. Yeah. And I want to see people progress. Just like Cleo McDowell. Now, that's not a costume character. That's played by John Amos. And he is, he's definitely an all-star in our community, in the Black community. But
he's an all-star.
He had the same shtick. It was the same shtick. It was like, okay, this shirt right here that I have on is talking about the home of the Big Mick. And so I would have liked to see him use that way of thinking, or his, kind of his habit of, ripping off other people's ideas into either, a different business other than McDonald's ripoff, like, just see how he would expand those ideas and see how he would borrow from other, companies or something like that. I think that would have been interesting.
Silver Lady says the scenery and the costumes were a plus, and I agree. I love the costumes. I think it was smart to get Ruth Carter. Yeah,
gorgeous.
Yeah. And, looking back in the comments, I started to read her comment, but I want to come back to it. Lexa Dune says, I didn't mind it. I chuckled several times. I did fall asleep when they were in the courthouse, though, and woke up not knowing how the story resolved. So, it's, I've heard that feedback that it was slow in some parts, or some people, didn't really vibe all the way through it. But, my overall impression was that it was a kind of, I don't want to say a breath of fresh air, because if you think about the whole concept of the movie, it was very stale because they recycled a lot. But it was nice during the time that we're in a pandemic. It was nice to have a little bit of levity, especially as, things are opening back up at a drastic pace. And, sometimes you just want to laugh at something. So I did giggle. I wasn't a full-on belly laugh, but I could see where other people appreciated the film more than I did.
I enjoyed the end credits more than the movie. I thought those were funny. The outtakes, yeah.
All right. So what would you have done differently? I know we talked about this a little bit, but, what are some different things that could have been done to save the movie, Nellybang?
I need time to think about that. I don't, the whole marriage thing, I think you've done that before, so I would try and come up with something else. I don't know what, but I would do something different.
I didn't like the callback. I did not like the, I was like, why do they keep calling this baby a bastard? Please, okay, I got it. But they kept saying it like that was his name. I didn't like that. I didn't like the original Princess Imani, the woofing thing. I was like, girl, stop. That callback wasn't funny to me. I thought they would do more with the Wesley Snipes' son. They pumped him up like he was gonna do something, and then he just looked sad and walked away. And and then Tiana Taylor, I felt like was doing the most.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Oh, is that what she does? She looked amazing. She looked great, but I was, and then it was the same thing. Maybe that's what they do in Next Doria. I don't know, but
let me take it back to your comments.
They could have kept all of that.
On Imani Izzy, the role played by Vanessa Bell Calloway. Is it just Vanessa Bell now? I forget. But I, as a fan of the first one and watching it over the years, in the back of my mind, it was always like, that was never resolved. We never found out what happened to her. And for all we know, she is still sitting there, hopping on one leg. The only problem is that
Tiana Taylor didn't do that.
That's true. But if you look at the first film, which we watched actually scenes of afterwards, She switched from, she was supposed to bark like a dog. She was barking like a small dog. Then he told her to bark like a big dog. And then he was like make a noise like an orangutan. So as far as continuity, if we're counting up the mistakes or the continuity errors in it, then that is one if you want to be, that guy. I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I am that guy because I brought it up.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I think people really remember the dog barking more than they remember the orangutan. So if you're not watching it all the time, you would be like, wait, what? And you'd have to go back.
That's true.
So I think that was, if you're going to keep her in that mode, I think that was an okay choice, because that's generally what people like. People always do bark like a small dog, bark like a big dog. They very rarely go to the orangutan. I forgot that was even there,
I did too.
Bark like a big dog and then I hop off. So
yeah. For clarification, I forgot that until I rewatched it after the movie.
Right,
So
exactly.
Right. For the movie to have her, and for us to kind of buy into that she's been doing that for the past 30 years, regardless of how realistic that aspect of the movie is, you got to think that Akeem is kind of a jerk for knowing that she's been doing it.
And then the other side to that is, if Wesley Snipes is going to run up in your house and demand things, you should have done that 20 years ago. Demand that your sister be released from the thing. At the end, he was like, oh, finally, thank you for releasing my sister. He'd been married for 30 years. He probably hasn't thought about her in 30 years. You should have ran up and been like, hey, release my sister, But none of that is in the movie. But I just thought, I was like, y'all could have kept that. I didn't like that part.
I got you. So what's the biggest thing that you would have done differently? Is it the plot? Is it the way that they were calling back and just making references to the movie, to the first movie? Ender says we're taking things too serious, too literal.
I understand.
Oh, hold on one second.
I understand why they did it the way they did. They played it safe. They didn't stray too far from what people liked about the original.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they did.
I know that they showed you basically the original movie. Then they showed you all the people from the original movie doing the same things that they did in the original movie. So
this new one, it felt like a Will Packer movie or something that was like for ABC Family. Like those jokes are like, they're not
watered down.
Not watered down. It's just like, here's the joke. Like
they're handed to
whereas
you.
With no thought,
there's no thought really involved. It's just they, go out of their way to explain or present it to you in such a way to whereas, see, we're being funny, haha, this is a joke.
Whereas like with the other one with Oha, like I think that's hilarious where he's just this serious dude and he starts singing falsetto, but then he goes back to right. That's funny. Not.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is they did all the things that was in the original movie. They had Oha, he sang the song. They had the guys in the barbershop, they talk mess.
Yeah.
It was just the same. I
want that, but not the same thing.
Yeah.
Do something new.
I just think people were never going to be satisfied. I think that it would be really difficult it would be very challenging to take such a beloved movie and remix it and make it fresh and, present it and people like it. I mean, I think that's why I say, I think they played it safe. They said they like people like this, they're going to give them this. People like this. That's what they do in Hollywood. How often do you get
it's time for them to do something new? Because I mean, what's the point of doing it if it's going to just be a reunion?
Girl,
where you're doing
to make that money. All of y'all that didn't like it, plus all the people that did like it, they got the money. Y'all, the HBO Max or wherever channel, Netflix paid them already.
People Amazon Prime,
Everybody's Yeah, Amazon Prime. Oh yeah, sorry, Amazon.
Right. So
it was y'all.
When we're thinking about the missteps that the movie made, because I mean, love it or hate it, we can all agree that there were some missteps. Would you have done anything differently? I think to answer that question personally, I didn't really dig the retread of the plot, introducing the son and introducing like maybe Leslie Jones' character and things like that. Was okay, but the whole thing about finding a bride and all of this, I think that they had some foundation to build on an interesting story. Maybe even a riff off of what happened in, not to rip it off, and maybe they did it on purpose to distance itself, but what if we find out that Akeem has this son, and the son is, maybe he's not like Jermaine Fowler's character. What was his name? His name was Lavelle Johnson.
Lavelle Johnson, yeah.
So if he was instead, and I thought that for a second, I thought they were going to go with this. What if he was like extra woke, like comically woke, and was trying to, maybe got to Zamunda and maybe was, kind of like a Killmonger light, And I'm not saying that they should just rip off Black Panther, but I'm saying something like that to whereas you get the sensibility of the generation, the younger generation, and how it can clash with the older generation. And, him be like, oh, okay, he'd get there and he'd be like, okay, so when I take over, we are going to, be down for the cause. And then Akeem maybe having to work with him, or maybe that's when you bring in the eldest daughter, who's obviously ready to be the queen of Zamunda and rule. And you just kind of make her an afterthought. You push her to the back and you try and pull comedy from, the situation with Lavelle. And I think I would have done that a little bit differently. I would have made it more focused on the empowerment of the daughter than, trying to change the son.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of those are wonderful ideas. I'm not that creative. I knew I was going to have problems with this question because I don't know, that's not my area of, that's not my wheelhouse creativity. But I think Ender made a good point about saying they had a tricky task because they needed to appeal to a younger generation, plus the original fans. So I thought that was a really good point. And like I said, I'm not that creative. So
Alexa Doom says, hey, did anyone get kind of weird vibes between half brother and sister during the lion scene?
So, I was worried about that for a second.
We don't even know if that's her brother because they didn't do a DNA test.
That's true.
Did not do a DNA test. I've kept waiting for them to get some real proof.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But I think there were good things in the movie. I like the female empowerment. He had the daughters, he had the wife, like he was a man that's surrounded by women and he was cool with it. He wasn't, sexist, I guess, but he did kind of follow the rules of the country. And then they were like, you could change it. I loved it. I was waiting for someone to say, your mom would have said, aren't you the king? And that's what
Madge Sinclair did in the first movie.
Oh, right, that's what the man from Good Times did.
Yeah. Cleo McDowell, right. John Amos.
Yeah. And then I like the way Lavelle Johnson, he won everybody over. Everybody was like side-eye, and then he won the little girl over first. I don't even know what the deal with the middle sister was.
Hey, you gotta put
my dad, he's the star.
Wonderful. Oh, yes, exactly. But then he eventually won. So I guess eventually he won over the middle sister, and then he won over the older sister. Mm-hmm. I love the scene with Colin Jost. I thought that was
really funny.
Then for him to be the descendant of the Dukes, I thought, great tie-in since both of those guys are gone. Right. And so,
yeah.
Oh, I thought I was frozen.
Yeah, I thought it was.
So yeah, I just to focus on the positive things, I am on the fence with Leslie Jones. I be on the fence with Leslie Jones. I've liked her lately, what she does on Twitter and, the commentary and, I'm really amused by it. Sometimes all that yelling as a person who is also loud herself is too much for me. So I know it's a lot. But I expected her to get on my nerves in the movie. She was okay. I liked the relationship that she had with her son, like it was total support. When she was in the hot tub and the brother and the son was like, they want to bathe me, and she was like, go on and enjoy it. And then my man rolled up. I was like, yes.
I get that.
Yes. And then when he took the deep breath to go down again, oh, that tickled me. I thought that was funny. And it wasn't, I don't know. So I thought it was a good time. I think that if it were just, I think it got over because it was a callback to the first movie. Mm-hmm. If this was a brand new movie without all of the cameos and the connection to the first one, I probably would have liked it a little less. But it was like I said, like a high school reunion. It was good to see everybody again. Peaches and her sister. I was like,
oh.
Yeah, there you go.
What did you guys think of Wesley Snipes?
People really like him on the internet. They're like, oh my God, Wesley Snipes did great. And his accent was great. And I was like,
yeah, like there was a lot of positive feedback. Like reading just comments on Facebook and Twitter and just social media in general, people are like, Wesley killed it. And I don't know if we are just in kind of a Wesley Snipes drought. I thought he was much funnier in My Name is Dolomite. I thought he did a great job in that. And, I did, not to say that he did a bad job in this. I thought he did great for what his character called for.
He should have played it different, but I don't know if that would have saved the movie.
Yeah. And let's talk about some of the different cameos that they had in the movie. What do you think?
I enjoyed Trevor Noah.
Yeah. Okay.
That made me giggle.
That was one of the few times I laughed out loud because he was just looking kind of crazy with his little afro and
looking crazy in that hair.
Just to see him, being the news anchor for CNN or whatever it was, that was hilarious to me.
That was,
like KG mentioned, the Colin Jost cameo. I thought that was very clever and that was nicely done. Anybody else for best cameo?
Randy Watson, man. Randy Watson at the end. I was like, come through, Randy.
Yeah.
But didn't we get that from the trailer?
We did get that. The trailer did spoil a lot.
See, I didn't watch the trailer.
I thought that I thought the Morgan Freeman thing was kind of funny. It's just that, the way my mind works is like, he's probably going to be there. And he was there. He was the announcer and stuff like that. Just, I thought some of the cameos were good. I thought some of them were unnecessary. Like, you could have taken Salt and Pepper and
Gladys Knight was
all those people. You could have kind of taken them out.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been.
Mom said the movie grew on her.
Yeah, it grew on me too.
I agree.
I'll tell you that much.
That's what I'm saying. I think it'll grow on people.
What do you think about?
I think people look at Coming to America with hindsight, and they think of all the years they loved it. And I'm not negating that it was hilarious when it first came out, but I didn't realize how much I loved it until after a lot of viewings. Like, it was great. I loved it. Then I went on with my life. I wasn't like, oh my God, it's so great. I get to see it again and again and again and again. It was like, oh my God, that was funny. I had a good time. Remember this part, remember this part, remember this part. And then it was like, okay, what's next? But then, you know, it's on cable. You watch it, you catch this part, you catch a look that you haven't seen before, you know, and it just gets better and better and better. And, you know.
Agreed. Who do you think gave the best performance in the movie? Like, as far as, like, from an acting perspective?
Wasn't a lot of acting.
I think it was the love interest.
The barber.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marimbe.
Okay. Yeah. I thought she did an excellent job. And she made the kind of story that they did.
She pulled it all together.
Yeah, she did kind of pull it together.
Yeah.
What scene stands out for you? What's like what was the highlight? What scene was the highlight for you? Was it the funeral? Was it the going back to the barber shop? Was it the CGI when they went back to how the son came about? How Leslie Jones' character got pregnant?
That was good how they did it, but
Ender says the premise of the movie is centered around the fact that no one talks about this, that Akeem was drugged and raped.
Consent is a thing.
Yeah.
yes.
And she did not consent.
Yeah. And they, you know, I know what they did. I know they tried to shoehorn that in there, you know, and give us the kind of the catalyst for the plot. But I think Ender is right. And if it was portrayed a different way, where it was, you know, a male character giving drugs to a female character and then taking advantage of her sexually, you know, that would definitely not play well. And so it shouldn't play well when the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah.
And then
and they are talking about it. People are saying, you know, that this is a thing. So
And then another thing is a couple of scenes after the nightclub scene, when they are in the original movie, I should clarify, when they are washing windows at McDowell, Simi says that he hasn't had sex since he's been in America, and that completely contradicts, you know, the premise of the second movie. But so people won't, you know,
you're being that guy again. Being that guy.
All the lines have to connect, you know, connect the dots. La 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 la. What was the best callback? Oh,
they needed a vehicle to get back in 30 years later. So my question is, you know, there was a big wait between The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2. Do you feel like they did that better than the way they did this? You know, like waiting that. What's another sequel that you had to wait like a million years?
Back to the Future, there was distance between the first and the second one.
Not that much, though.
It wasn't that much, but there was kind of a big gap, like a 10-year, well, maybe it was 5 years, something like that. But you're saying like a real, like decades long gap. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like there was another one. I know it was Incredibles, this one, but I feel like there was another one that was like, oh, we getting a remake for that after all these years? Or maybe it was
Ted. What about Bill and Ted?
Bill and Ted, that's the one I was thinking they could have kept. Yeah. I definitely like this more than I like that Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what was the best callback? Like something that, you know, it was just like, it was a reference from the first movie that actually worked.
I do like Blade Runner.
Oh, Ender said Blade Runner.
Oh, see, I'm not a Blade Runner fan.
That puts me to sleep.
Yeah. Very slow pace.
Yeah. I didn't see one.
Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, Dumb and Dumber. I don't think I saw I don't see it. And then I just had one in my brain. It was before I saw Dumb and Dumber. There was another one you waited a long time for. I love it.
So when we talk about the costume design, are there any costumes or like maybe hairstyles that really stood out? Like, wow,
all up.
Yeah.
They was looking good in Zamunda. I think her wedding dress, the red wedding dress with the I really enjoyed that. His outfit when he kind of first realized when he was feeling marimba it was black and then it had just like a pattern at the bottom. I was like, are really looking good in Zamunda. So yeah, I really like those costumes. Definitely the oldest daughter was always looking amazing.
Those were done by Max. I can't do it. Bossa.
The Princess I'ma do me outfit.
Yeah. So when we talk about the characters that are played by Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get too many new characters.
And the new character I hated.
Yeah, the witch doctor.
The shaman.
Maybe witch doctor.
I hated him.
Correct. But the shaman. Okay. Yeah, I agree.
That's a good question.
At Ender.
Ender says, he can't wear that.
Should be. You could wear it. People might look at you.
I would wear that when I was with Lexa Doom, though. But I don't know. All right, so is there anything like a small, very thing that was underplayed that made you laugh? Because I have one, and it cracked me up the second time that I saw it. It was like, let me tell you.
Which one?
First of all, just, we understand. I've read several headlines, never clicked on the article, but I read several headlines about the fact that the movie studio forced Eddie to put in a white actor in the first film. And so they chose Louis Anderson. So to bring him back for the second one, okay, all right. Not that he did anything that would stand out funny in the first one, but if you ever watch it again, he's wearing a McDowell's dashiki.
I peeped that.
I thought that was so funny. Just with the little McDowell's logo, the golden arcs all over it in a little pattern. And, just him wearing the dashiki. Oh, Silver Shadow is in the house. He says, I enjoy seeing the old characters with present day wrinkles and weight. I like the new characters, even though I'm not a fan of Leslie, Tracy, or Wesley. Watching while discussing with family.
Yeah, I don't like Tracy Morgan either.
Plus.
I like Tracy
Morgan.
I didn't care for him in this movie, but I like his character.
So let's talk about Tracy Morgan and to an actually big extent, Leslie Jones. We kind of had this discussion just about representation and about crossing that line into a caricature or a negative stereotype. How do we feel about that? Are we, is it respectability politics to not be a fan of those types of characters? Or, what is your input?
I liked her character. Like I said, she did okay for me. She was a little over the top at the beginning, but I think if you really look at her character, she was a good mom. She was supportive. She had a good relationship with her son. She wasn't, even in that situation, she wasn't like, oh, we finna get rich. Like, she was like, oh, this is a great opportunity, but she wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought she looked amazing. The different hairstyles that she had. Even like, I'm not generally a fan of her spiky
mohawk.
natural,
yeah.
Her curly mohawk, she looked amazing. I thought that she did a really good job. I've heard people say Leslie Jones was hilarious. I don't know about that, but I thought, she made me giggle a time or two. I like the juxtaposition of the really royal and reserved family versus the, West Side cousins, if you will. So I liked it.
All right.
I think that's real life.
Yeah, definitely.
Ender has a question.
Had my weed.
Let's see here. Okay, so Ender, he's saying that do we feel like it felt too dialed back to get the PG-13 rating? I did notice that it was very PG-13-ish, but I thought it was okay.
13?
PG-13. I thought the comedy still worked without going extra blue or whatever. What about you, Nellybang?
Didn't like it.
You didn't like it? You wish it was fully, just kind of a rated R kind of deal?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I don't remember anything being extra blue in the first one. Like, I don't remember.
They dropped a lot of F-bombs, especially in the barbershop.
Yeah.
Had the bathers rising from the water.
My man rose from the water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But
that's what I'm saying. I didn't notice that it was, squeaky clean or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's like what he said, Disney Channel sequel. I felt like it was made for ABC Family. And I don't like that type of stuff unless it's Harry Potter.
I got you. Yeah. When you talk about the audience, maybe that was a decision made because it widens the audience as far as who they market it to and how they market it. You can market it to more families, not all families, but more families if it does have that PG-13 rating.
And most people have watched it on BET or they've watched it on extended cable, basic cable. They haven't watched it in the they're not watching the original in the theater with the full. Nobody is taking out the DVD of Coming to America to sit down and watch it. They're catching it on for the last 25 years. How often do you pull out the original to watch it?
I don't, but
I'm saying, how often do you say today I'm going to watch versus the times that you catch it? It's like, oh, it's on. Oh, my favorite part is coming up. Oh, this part, I'm going to watch it. And you just wind up, watching.
Well, what we do is we'll go through things like, let's watch a bunch of Eddie Murphy movies. Let's watch some Marvel movies. Yeah. We do that. We go back and rewatch things.
Go back because we don't have cable.
But I'm saying, how often? Do you do that more often than you catch it?
Yeah, we don't have cable.
Yeah. So we stream everything. And so when you stream everything, with the exception of a few services who have like live channels, we have to deliberately say, okay, we're going to watch this and we're going to watch that. But if we're at, mom and dad's house, if we're at our parents' house and something is on, like the other day when Coming to America was on afterwards, we were watching scenes from that and that was funny. Silver Lady 9, that's my mom. That's our mom. She says that it was a Hallmark movie. And sometimes that's what people are looking for. Yeah.
Loves a Hallmark movie. That's her thing.
How do you feel about
that's her jam?
And I know we had this discussion. We felt like it was going to be revealed that Lavelle was not Akeem's son.
I was waiting for it.
Do you wish they had went that route, or do you think that they did the right thing and maybe making it so that he is part of that family? There is there are, rumor has it, certain royal families that are not accepting of people or grandchildren or children.
Way to bring that one home. Way to make that connection, because that is really what's popping right now.
So it could have been where where Akeem discovered that he had this son or this offspring, and maybe the king was very resistant because
no. I think the royals in England need to take notes from this movie on how to act right with your family.
Yeah, I guess.
So, take that. No, I think that Mom said it didn't matter to her. Yeah, it was whatever. Yeah. I did expect them to say no because the premise was so far-fetched that he had this one night, And and for 30 years, he thought a wild boar came and rammed him and whatever. Like, the premise was so shaky and far-fetched that I was like, well, they gotta, figure this out. But they didn't. Okay. And it was what it was.
So what Eddie Murphy movie do you think they should make a sequel of next? Do you think they should revisit the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, which rumor has it they're going to?
I don't be waiting on sequels like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's so hard to capture that magic again.
Yeah.
Like you can't, you can capitalize off of nostalgia. That's why, when like New Edition, they will always be able to tour because I can always go back to my heyday. You know what I'm saying? The Temptations, whatever your group is, that nostalgia of you going back. Nobody wants to hear your new jams. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear the stuff that
Stevie Wonder in concert. I'm not looking for Stevie's new album. I want to hear the classics.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. And so it's hard to create something new with something that you've loved for so long. So these forever sequels, I am not a fan of.
We are not gonna have
Daddy Daycare.
Oh, that's my nephew. Wannabe VA is definitely in the house, and he says he's waiting for Daddy Daycare for the daddening. Nice, I like it. When you talk about these movies that they kind of dust off and things, you have to take into account that they do try and introduce these to a new generation. I guess my thing is I don't see Coming to America, the sequel. I don't see them being able to carry on that franchise with any interest. You know what I mean? It's like all the returning characters, they didn't do anything new with them. And, I didn't have a problem with Jermaine Fowler, but I'm not ready to go to any, movie starring Jermaine Fowler. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I've seen him before and I don't remember what that was from. So
yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Well, it's time to wrap it up. Our hour is over. I would like to thank MsKGnLV and Nellybang for joining me on this channel for our Throwback Alumni Podcast. This is our first ever, guys. And I really appreciate all the support that we've been getting in the chat box. It was nice to look into the chat box and, see the participation. And you guys really gave us some extra things to think about, some additional things to think about.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. One of the things that we will be doing is we will be looking for suggestions for future topics. It doesn't always have to be movie reviews. It could be, different, different things that we talk about. But one of the things that we do want to do is let you know that you can follow us right here on Twitch. We're broadcasting right now on my channel, which is twitch.tv/KrazeAmaze. But you could also follow Nellybang.
Of your dreams.
The DJ of your dreams, right? And you can also follow MsKGnLV. Let's build this community so that we can, we can hang out online. We can have these conversations, and maybe we'll have a special guest next time. Maybe we'll pull some other people into the fold. But Twitch is here, you guys, and it's something that we can use to link up and communicate with the people that we care about. So let's continue to do it. I'm going to sign off for Nellybang and MsKG. Do you guys have anything to say before we go?
Yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat. Great participation. Appreciate your comments. Love you all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And for lack of a better phrase, we will see you when we see you. Okay? We'll see you when we see you, which might be in your dream.
Bye.
Bye.
Zoom Wave 5. Bye.